Hello, everyone. Welcome to our September Details University Live Masterclass. I'm your host, Corrine Heck, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing my very good friend, Holly Haveman. Yes, I was like thinking about it. Like, I could have gone one of two ways.
You got it.
Yes, welcome to the show, Holly. How are you doing today?
Hey, thanks so much. Oh, I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Always good to see you.
It looks nice and sunny where you're at, so I think the weather is still holding up.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's dahlia season and it's going to hold strong for a couple more weeks, our local farmer says. So I'm grateful for that.
No, well, when we jumped on, I am so grateful that you were able to join us for this masterclass because I really want to dig into all the great things you're doing over at Kennedy's. But it's been a really busy season for you from what you told me. I thank you for stepping away during a really challenging time.
You got it. No problem. My pleasure.
Yeah. What do you think it's attributed to? Because this isn't normally a
I do honestly think September has become a busier wedding month. I bet probably a lot of people would agree. September has become a very busy wedding month. And so we've just had a couple stacked weekends of large weddings. And then all three of our biggest school districts at Forest Hills, there's three of them, were all last Saturday. So you know how corsages and boutonnieres just take a lot of time.
yes.
And we're grateful because they're kind of the gateway flower that youngsters get to know about flower shops and us through. However, they're very labor intensive. And when you have hundreds as well as two really massive weddings, and we had you thankfully no one big died because as you know, kind of a joke is like when a funeral happens, that's massive too. But we just had a lot of smaller, like medium-sized events with the weddings, with the dances. So it was a bustling week.
Well, I have to say, the corsage was definitely my introduction as a young lady into the flower world. And my boyfriend at the time got me this most beautiful red rose corsage, and I kept it for far longer than I should have in my fridge. So it was like a memento I could not throw away. And
That's
but I
cute.
think that's our first passion into flowers comes from those high school dances. So you're right. You just
You're
follow,
absolutely
follow
right.
through the life's journey.
I couldn't tell you how many couples come and they're like, "Oh, I used to get my dance flowers here." And I'm like, "Oh, see, that's why we do it."
Well, so you are the owner and manager at Kennedy's Floral in Grand Rapids, Michigan. How
Yeah.
long has that business been? It's a family business, right?
It is. It's a family business. So I'm a co-owner with my mom and my brother, and we have about 40 employees. So we're a pretty big store. It's a very large and gorgeous flower and gift shop. So follow along on at Kennedy Floral for Instagram. You can see, the side of our business that's more gifts as well, which is super inspiring.
Yeah.
Um, I think we think it's been around since the 40s or so, which is kind of interesting. The original owner was Gordon Kennedy. And then it went through just a couple owners before my mom bought it. Yeah, she bought it when she was about 28 and she's now
Wow.
69. And she had been working there about 10-ish years before she bought it. So she's been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah, well, it's so nice to have a seasoned, well-developed mentor, if you will, as you started stepping into the business. When did you first pick up, I would imagine, a broom or maybe some scissors, a
Yeah.
water tube? What was your introduction to
So
the flower
I've been
industry?
around it my whole life. I remember working after school, really more so in the gift shop rather than with flowers.
Okay.
And I do remember around like a Valentine's Day, that's when I did my first dozen roses. But I didn't really get into floristry probably until later, more around like 2014 or so. I mean, I knew how to sell flowers, but I was not the designer. And that's kind of the same case for my mom. She's always been the business mind, but she's never been the hands behind the flowers. So for the longest time, that was my role too. I could sell and I could price things out, but I didn't design. And
Yeah.
then kind of stepped into it. I studied floristry with Mr. Phil Rulota in
Yeah.
Southern California School of Floral Design in 2014. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
He's such a neat man. I saw him there at AIFD this year with all those beautiful tropical flowers. He was doing some demonstrations,
Oh,
but
that makes
he's like
sense.
a, an a remarkable man that has made it such a big impression on so many florists' lives. So that
Oh,
was your first leap into design.
yeah, so he's an absolute floral great, just a legend, and he's so positive.
Yeah.
He gives out these pins when you take his course and it says, "Yes, I can." And I just think it's so empowering. He really teaches you that. Um, and yeah, I actually worked corporate for quite some time before I fully got into our floral industry. Yeah, medical devices, if you would believe it or not.
Well, it was probably good for you to kind of step outside and see other sides of business before you jumped in and like gave your 2 cents on how the
Oh,
operation should be, to something that's been long standing. But I bet you brought a lot of maybe different, unique ideas. I imagine.
yeah. Well, definitely. So working corporate, you are exposed to standardized ways of doing things like SOPs, standard operating procedures. And I had
Mhm.
studied supply chain management, which I call the backbone of business. So it's kind of like how, the procurement, the planning, like the logistics, the marketing, how it all plays together. So I
Mhm.
did really have a good little snippets of all of that kind of background and then worked that for years. And my mom did always kind of say, like, yeah, you guys have to go work somewhere else before you come back, which I think is really wise because, as you were kind of saying, it gives you an opportunity to see how things are done in other places. And I actually did work with flower shops abroad for a little while too before I came home.
Yeah, I remember you sharing this with me. So, just a little insight. Holly and I spent, I think, 3 or 4 days together this past year for the first ladies' luncheon where we were both on the design team. So, even though we've known each other for many, many years, we really did a crash course. But please share with them because you traveled all over India? No,
Yeah. So something kind of unique about me is I did live out of a backpack for 3 years. So that's not your conventional
no.
life exactly.
It's surprising she and I are friends because I could never live out of a backpack, Holly.
But you're traveling all the time. You live out of a suitcase,
I live out of three. No, I've
That's
got
correct.
a lot.
I
I don't
um
travel light.
no, I was laughing and they were so stylish too. After college, I had a job that was rotational. So every 6 months I moved around. And so it really, adaptability is one of my strengths.
Mhm.
And so I would come in and get to know a business quickly. And I was in charge of a lot of like process and system improvements. So as you kind of said, even when coming back into our own business, I remember kind of feeling a little overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, it was running really well, but I just saw a lot of opportunity. And I had to remind myself, like, Rome wasn't built in a day, take
Yeah,
it a step at a time.
yeah.
But yeah, I worked corporate for 4 years and I moved around every 6 months. So around the United States, and then I lived in Costa Rica working for that. Abbott Laboratories was the company.
Okay.
And then I stopped working for them in 2014 and I started living nomadically. But we were part of a group called the World Flower Council.
Yeah,
And yeah, their mission was world peace through the beauty of flowers, which is so, I just love that. I was very aligned with that message. And I found out about their group right when I knew I wanted to kind of leave the corporate world. And so my mom read about it, I think it might have been a Florist Review magazine. She saw their little ad and said, "Hey, Holly, do you want to go to Croatia for the World Flower Council?" And it was, perfect synchronicity. Croatia had just been coming onto my radar and I hadn't said anything about it to anyone. And then she brought that up and I thought, yes, say
yeah.
less, let's do this. So I started using their summits around the world as a way to springboard myself to a certain region, get to know florists and be part of that convention and then travel the area afterwards. So
Well,
yeah, we had gone to, I don't know, maybe 8 summits. They took a little break because of COVID. And then unfortunately, they had one last summit and then kind of disbanded because it was just too much. Like
I
the,
think I saw one that was happening in Africa a few years back or
yes, that's where I met Tim Farrell.
Oh, really? So you
Yes.
actually went to that. I just thought it was so phenomenal, but like, you can meet flower family and have them all over
Oh,
the
yeah.
world, which is just so fantastic. I think all these opportunities and living nomadically, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that they've lived nomadically. So you get, a gold star for the day for that. Tell me about that experience, like, you were off by yourself and just
Yeah, I did travel solo and people would say, "Oh, don't you get lonely?" But you're like me. It's like a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet.
yeah,
So just say hello. And, my Oma always said, um, watch your backside. So I'd always like keep my head on and
yeah.
I had nothing but great experiences.
No, that's you're such a treasure. I feel like everybody in the, you're like the mother earth of the floral industry. I feel like you're very grounding. Many times at Next Gen or some of these other conferences, you have led some of these like stress release or healing
Yeah.
kind of meditation. So
Mhm.
I feel like that's just a part of who you are, and it's lovely that you can share it in such an easy way that's consumable.
Ah,
Yeah, you know.
thank you. Yeah, I have been asked to lead some of those things more frequently at Next Gen and even just recently at SAF about wellness and balance. And I feel honored that people think of me as that in the industry. And I really do believe in it. So I try to live it. Now, granted, there are busy times where, I did work a 7-day week last week, and that's not something I want for anyone. But sometimes as an owner, as a manager, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Just make sure it doesn't happen too much.
Yeah. No, well, you have to have that definitely.
Mhm.
Do you find it challenging, when you're having a busy week or like, do you ever find that you're getting frustrated with certain people? I think that working with you would probably be pretty delightful. You seem like such an easygoing person. Is there ever like stress level Holly comes out and it's like, watch out. Here she
Well, I think I try and hold it together very well. My team knows when I put my hair up, that's like when Holly's getting stressed, I need to like control something so the hair goes up.
okay. That's a
But
good
still, I work to be respectful with how I communicate. And granted, I'm human. So
yeah.
sometimes, you can't be perfect. My Oma
Yeah.
always said perfect is boring, but I strive to keep fairness and respect at the top of any of my conversations or um, how I'm handling things. Use the breath work, breathe through it.
Yeah. Well, the floral industry is absolutely. I know the floral industry, I mean, it's obviously very demanding and personally recharge, other than, like, all the things you just mentioned? I know you do a lot of yoga too.
Oh, I would say probably one of my favorite, I have a couple favorite ways to recharge. Dancing. Just put on some music and just let yourself dance. I love to kind of let loose that way. I've found it really just gets me out of a funk fast. And so that's one way. I love that. And I actually just read a study that dancing is one of the best cures for depression. So I thought, oh, maybe that's why. Like you just like it.
Yeah,
But nature as well. I love to take a walk, even if it's around my block or if it's actually getting into the woods, I prefer that. But sometimes I just stroll my historic neighborhood and admire the architecture in the gardens and find joy. But it's really about finding joy in little things and just
yeah.
lighting in the everyday pleasures, making the moment to have the appreciation is how I kind of find that I can keep myself feeling good.
Well, I feel like we spent a lot of time just wandering through this streets of DC, and
Yeah.
I get to show her all the cool places where you go
Oh,
and all the things. So we had
you're
a
the best tour guide. I was so blessed. I just loved that.
it was a fun time. So let's talk more about like this year. So we apply every year for the marketer of the year, and I'm like, we're
Mm,
putting our best foot forward. And
yeah.
you mentioned to me, you're like, oh, I'm applying too. I was like, oh, okay, it's on now, Holly. And when you ended up winning, I was like, that's a brilliant idea. I'm sorry I even applied because your idea was so
Uh,
phenomenal. So I just want more people to actually like take your idea and turn it into their own. So would you mind for the Society of American Florists, which also won, I think, $5,000 from Design Master. And this is not the
yeah.
first year you applied to. So you apply. I feel like if you have any chance of winning, you might as well apply, right? Because I think,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
good.
they're so grateful to have people apply. I do think I think it might have been our fifth time trying.
Okay.
Um, I'm not 100% sure. It could have been like the fourth or something, but I know that we've been top three in the contenders quite a few times, and they're always like, apply again, apply again. So what we won Marketer of the Year for is our refillable vase program. And it's just such a lovely program. Being a flower and gift shop, it's especially successful for us because we want people to think of flowers and also come in and see our gift shop. So being a brick and mortar store, when they have to come and refill a vase, they get to look and shop around. So this refillable vase program started with my mom's 60th birthday, and she wanted to gift anyone who shopped on her birthday a vase that they could have free flowers in for a year.
Yeah.
And typical Lori underestimated, what that might entail because she was thinking like, oh, I just, pick up the broken lily heads and the broken flowers and I put them in a little vase on my shelf. I want to do this for people. And it's like, oh man, when you have 100 people coming, you have to have more of a plan than just a couple broken flowers. So it's definitely transitioned, but we started it that way the first year, super fun. And then that same first year, we transitioned into something called Scatter Joy. And that was a refillable vase that people could have flowers in through the original was just November and December.
I
And
see.
throughout all of this, we're listening to our customers, we're seeing them more, and we're learning kind of what matters to them. So when we did that first Scatter Joy, I think we had like a realtor and another customer. We sent them out to like our top 100 people, our top 100 customers, and they loved them so much they called and they're like, we want to order these for, 75 people or whatever. And so we realized we had something that people wanted.
Yeah.
And then transitioning on from that, now every year we celebrate my mom's birthday. And it's now something that people actually shop and spend her age to earn this vase that they get free quarterly flowers for the tidbit. And
Okay.
then we created something called the Magic Vase, which is like a calendar year. And people can come in every week and get flowers for free. And the idea is that they just wait a couple minutes while we fill it, and then they can shop and look around, and hopefully they end up buying something. And, not every time do they buy something, but it keeps us top of mind for them. So when the time comes that they need a gift or flowers, they think, oh, Kennedy's, they're going to go there for their flowers. They might as well look for whatever else they are hoping to share with someone.
No, I think it's so brilliant. Yeah, from a dollar perspective, you guys have brought in a tremendous amount of money from this program, which is if you just have a loose or, a stem of a rose that you just can't put in a larger bouquet, it's
Yeah,
perfect for this. So a great way to use all of your broken stems, but like that
exactly.
business or those client interactions, that's how you build that loyalty. So like what has it turned into from like a revenue standpoint?
Oh gosh. Um, it's a whole category of its own. So I mean, I think what we ended up submitting was like $200,000 or something was what we earned. I'm trying to think on a per campaign basis because we have the Magic Vase, which goes the whole year.
Mm,
We also created Gift of the Seasons, which are 3-month seasons for the people who aren't here all year, but they winter in Florida and then they're here for 6 months of the year. Then we do the Queen of Hearts, which is associated with Valentine's Day. And then the
okay.
Magic Mama, which is associated with Mother's Day. And the Tidbit Vase, of course, for Lori's birthday. So each of those have a different fluctuation, but they earn on average around $15 per visit.
I see.
And there are about 200 visits a week. So we have a lot of people coming through for these.
That's
Um,
amazing. I love that. Well, such a simple way to engage with your community and keeps people coming back. It keeps top of mind. It's a great gift to give. How did
yeah.
the realtors, what, did they just give it to anybody who buys a house from them and then they get that?
So, that's something I almost want to re-tap into because it was just that first person who bought them once. And sometimes a realtor will buy it one off, but I don't have like a standing relationship with realtors. And I'm always trying to get my foot like in the door with how can we help them and also kind of fit that need. So I was kind of wondering about having just a special thing to offer them, even like a certain vase. The thing about this program is it is really vase specific because that allows us to visually see like, okay, they have this vase that's current for this year or this season. So it can't just be, our very first year we did it, there was only maybe 10 people with the magic vase. And one woman had her own container and it was this owl shaped little votive. And so we knew it was her, but we couldn't just do that for, now that there's 150 people with the magic vase and 100 people with the gift of the seasons. It's like we can't just do one-offs for everything. You have to have a system, as we were talking about.
But it's something that you can really plan and go to market with the intention of what's
Yes.
gonna be our vase for this
Yeah.
year, what is the
Oh,
idea, and, then they have to buy their coveted vase, so I'm sure there's all these different marketing plans that you can envelope around, your signature program.
you are so right. Absolutely. I have like a whole checklist. Like this is the refillable checklist for marketing. This is the refillable checklist for the design department. Are you staying ahead of it? Because you need to have like a little insert card. It's about a business card size, and we just insert it with the first purchase of the vase that says, you can bring this flower, this vase in for up to one every week.
Okay.
Uh, we've understood that people need to keep their boxes with their vase so that it has their name there, because when you have 10 people coming in at the same time to get a refill, you lose track of whose vase is whose. So we use their phone number in order to ring it through. Even if they don't buy anything, we still need to know that this is something that we've given away and track that someone came in for it. It's honestly on the honor system if people are coming just once a week, but no one really abuses it.
Yeah.
And as you
You
were
know
kind of,
the customers that do. You're like, "Watch out for that woman, she's gonna come back 3 times." No.
there was one of those for a little while, and then you just kind of work through it. Because sometimes the flowers oftentimes will last longer than a week, and sometimes they don't, and that's the thing we say too, because part of this, the magic and the beauty of this program is that it does allow us to use up more mature stems, but we mix and like broken stems, but then we mix them with fresh too. So it's a nice little petite arrangement. And yeah, I mean, sometimes people will take it out and put it in a different vase in their home and then come in with their empty vase to get another one. And that's fine. I mean, if it lasts more than a week, I'm happy for that. And we tell them too, if it doesn't last as long as you want, come in, if it didn't, because sometimes the cooler does a beautiful job of holding things up, but then they get out at room temperature and it might not last as long as you're hoping. So we want to still stand behind the quality of all of our arrangements, big or small.
Absolutely. So what are some of your other like go-to strategies for marketing? Because this is like a great campaign. I mean, obviously you won this marketer of the year, which is so cool to see you and your mom and on the cover of a magazine.
Thanks.
That's
Thank
really
you.
really they're gonna probably print that at the SAF home office too. So you'll probably need to go there and see yourself.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, they gave us a nice like framed thing and it's kind of sitting on the back design table right now. But yeah, a lot goes into any of our marketing campaigns, usually several emails, Facebook, and Instagram posts. Those are the primary social media channels that we use. We use something called, it used to be called 5 Stars. It's now called One Up or something like that. But it's like a texting marketing service. And
Okay.
so we'll send out notifications to our customer base like, hey, reserve the Magic Mama, like, or the Magic Vase launches or things like that, kind of like leading up to it. Because a lot of these customers have been with us for years and then they tell their friends. So honestly, word of mouth is one of the most massive marketing tools for this campaign. Guys will come in and they'll say, oh, like my wife said, I have to get the vase that comes with free weekly flowers. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, that's like such to be known for that. I feel like is just it's super cool and like what a neat thing that you've kind of created and inspired. I feel like this was one of the most talked about things at the SAF conference was this program. If I'm and I actually would love to see it involved with that flower feeling or something
Mhm.
on a larger,
Right?
maybe more national scale, and we can get more participants of florists like are doing what you've
Yeah.
created. You gotta
We've
create.
had a lot of interest, like in between every session at SAF, people were coming up and asking questions. And it is the thing that we loved about it. Cause we've submitted for Marketer of the Year and come in like runner up quite a few times. And I admire the other ones that have won, but I kept thinking like, that's not something the average person can do, field to vase. That's not something the average person can do. Being Jay Schwanky, like you can't, be all over TV all the
Absolutely.
time. And yet they're amazing and they bring a lot of publicity to flowers. But this is something like the average florist can do. And I'll tell you, I mean, you live and you learn a lot as you go through this, because it does take labor. It does, I mean, when you have 200 people coming for flowers every week, I would say it takes at least like 12 to 15 hours of one of my designers' time, and it's usually 3 hours every day or something like that, or anywhere from 1 to who knows how many hours. Like the weekends are always busier, but
Yeah.
we've learned to pre-make things. At the beginning we were doing it all on demand, and when you only had 10 people, no problem, but as you have 100 people, it's much more of an interruption. So we pre-make things, and then also just learning the sizing for vases. You can't have like too large of a vase.
Yeah.
Could you hear me? I
It's
think it
too
kind
much
of froze
flowers to
for
give
a minute.
away. It's a little bit, but we're okay. We're okay. Yeah, but I feel like you have to be so strategic. So with the marketer of the year, I think one of the things that really you've gotten better at over the years obviously is like tracking all the data because they
Yeah.
really want like the good data to support it. And when I heard all the data that you were able to present, I was like, this is a phenomenal campaign
Mhm.
that people should be introducing to their local markets. Are you on a very well-traveled um location in Grand Rapids? Like 200 people is quite a lot of foot traffic, you
Yeah,
know?
so we are a standalone shop. So it's not like something people are walking by, like we are a destination location. So people stop by to shop with us. And honestly, Kareen, so many people come in even on a weekly basis, or like, we just get new customers weekly, and they'll say, I've driven by here for 20 years. And then, wow, I just thought it was a flower shop. And oh my gosh, you're so much more. And I always just joke, I'm like, hey, better late than never. Welcome. I'm glad you can know about us now. Um, but yeah, half the battle is getting anyone to stop and actually come in. So that's really part of the benefit of these bases is people have to come in and visit you in order to get their
Yeah.
flowers refreshed.
Can't make those arrangements too quickly. You gotta just let them, like, peruse just a little while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have a little bit more intention of waiting, like, okay, just tell them to look around for 5, 10 minutes and it'll be ready. Well, now people know that they are ready just to kind of grab and go. But still, I mean, that hasn't um had any negative impact on the conversion, which is great. So it's like people know they can come and get it refilled quickly, and still they choose to shop around. And honestly, our sales team is so personable with our customers and our clientele that they'll tap into some of our other systems. And while they're getting their vase, they'll look up their rewards and say, oh, you have $5 to spend, like, or oh, you have that 20% off coupon. And then that encourages sales. And then we also started handing out little coupons with their refill that are for redemption the next week. And so when they
Okay.
come in the next week, and it's for, anywhere from big to small kind of redemptions, but they've been incredibly impactful.
That's amazing. I think it's really nice to hear something that's simple that you can do because I think that a lot of people are overwhelmed just by like all the things, all the chaos of the world going on, from consumers to like florists alone. There are so many people have just there's just so much to do every day, right? And I think
Oh,
from a florist standpoint, they're overwhelmed. So this is a very easy thing that they could implement, especially if they do have any walk-in traffic. I think it's such a super idea. Is there anything else for those newbie florists who are getting started, like where you would suggest starting from a marketing standpoint or what they should do just to kind of get their brand out there?
yeah. I would say keep it simple as much as you can if you're thinking about doing like the refillable vase. don't give too many options, just really keep it simple.
Mhm.
Because we've done things in small, medium, large. We've tried a lot of different things over this 10-year period. Because I mean, my mom is pushing 70 this coming year, and we started on her 60th birthday. So this has been 10 years of refillable vases and iterations and changing. But yeah, just keeping it simple and then making sure that you track it and keeping it cost aligned. When we sell our first magic vase, we make sure, well, maybe not the magic vase, but when we do our like little seasonal versions, I figure it takes about $5 wholesale going into it with my flowers. And I don't really count the labor on it, but I count the container and the wholesale flower costs and the number of weeks that I'm going to do it. And then I use that as like my base price. Okay, $79, $99. And then even if they don't buy anything and they just come in for their free flowers, I know I've at least covered my costs. So
Okay.
that's one way to kind of not get uptight about it and just realize like, okay, I'm breaking even, and you're getting a lot of goodwill in the process.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well,
Mhm.
your Instagram handle, and I don't know if you don't want to share, so if we do, we'll bleep it out, but it's traveling with joy. And
Mhm.
I think that that's just it's kind of perfect for you because that's what you do is you travel with joy. But
Mm.
what role do you think that florists play in creating joy and connection beyond just selling like arrangements? Because I feel like they come in for you, your personality, they come in for that. But is there any other way that they can spread joy?
Yeah, I would say, and it's not even just me because, I'm not the main person and we have a big team. And having an upbeat, positive attitude is kind of part of our core values. Blooming positivity is that core value. Uh, I think one of the best things, and like I was recently just interviewing people, and they if they didn't mention that they loved working with customers, I kind of thought I didn't it struck out to me if someone didn't say that because I thought, oh, you need to love working with people because we work with people and we're helping them celebrate any different aspect in their life, new baby, their anniversary, most important, like a sympathy arrangement, helping them celebrate the life of someone they loved. And then, weddings and baby showers and everything in between. Just happy Tuesday, hey, good for you. You're bringing flowers home to your loved one.
Yeah.
Love that. So I think really just taking the time to help people embrace that joy that they're going to bring with flowers. So just staying kind and staying curious. A lot of times people don't know what they want and they need you to guide them, but I'll say, oh, at least give me like a flower or a color, and then I can go from there,
Yeah.
if we're in the cooler together.
I was having a conversation recently with a professor from Iowa State University at the Seed Your Future event, and he was sharing with me that he has sometimes heard in the past that people don't spend money on flowers because they're perishable. And I'll just share this with you, but he was like, that's the beauty of it though, because it reminds us of life and
Yeah.
that you can see something in its like best, brightest moment, and then it always like, kind of fades away. And then you have to celebrate those moments. So it just reminds us to stay present. And I think that that's just a reason why these vases are so impactful because they get to experience that, um, personal touch of like a
Oh,
moment. And then,
absolutely.
yeah. So I think that's really, I think I thought rather cool. Um,
Yeah.
you've mentioned the importance of fostering wellness. So how do you support your team's well-being in such a busy industry?
Yeah, I try and allow them to have balance in their life too. Almost I almost never say no when they need time off. I usually figure out how are we going to make it work.
Mm,
And that might be, calling someone else in or like I had to step in sometimes myself, but I really want balance and flexibility. That's just a core value for us as well. We want personal freedom. I want it for myself. I want it for my team because when you can do the things outside of work that bring you joy, then you can bring a happy self to work. And I really try and keep that in mind. So just
yeah.
being fair and flexible and figuring out how to make it work. My mom always just said, she's like, if they were sick, you'd have to figure it out. So if they need that day off, like figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, and I think avoiding burnout is what we all need, right? Because I think if we're just
Mhm.
all like stressed to the max, or even when you travel, sometimes you need a day to recover. So it's like,
Yeah,
so
it's so
uh,
true. I had
uh,
one person, whenever she'd take her vacation, I kind of just started to mandate, like, and you need that extra day off afterwards
yeah,
because she'd always want to come in and then she'd call sick. And I'm like, girl, you need that time.
so true. It's so true. So we're going to talk about some personal passions and opportunities. You love to travel and surround yourself with florals. I see you probably out more than anybody else going to like the Rose Parade, the First Ladies Luncheon, Chicago. I think you went to Floridaville's.
Definitely.
So you like to surround yourself in. Oh, you've been to Chelsea Flower Show. I think I saw you go to.
Not yet. That's still on my bucket list.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, it's like where else in flowers are you going? What's on your bucket list?
Yeah, so that definitely is on my bucket list, that Chelsea Flower Show. One of my coworkers took some significant time off and went this year. And I just thought, oh, I really want to do that with my mom next year. So maybe. Um, and then, oh, this is silly, but I really want to go to Jet Fresh's farm down in Ecuador. Like
Oh,
being
so
an
jealous.
international enthusiast and speaking Spanish and loving to see flower farms and just loving the guys at Jet Fresh or the fam and the team.
Yeah.
I really want to do that. So I talk with Mike about that.
Yeah.
Uh,
We'll get a
those are
field
two
trip going.
things. What'd you say?
We should do a flower field trip. Let's
I agree.
gotta organize that.
Yeah, you and me will lead that charge.
I know,
I
we'll do
feel
it.
like other
You
people out
bring
and
the
about, you're out and about all the time.
Hey, I'll bring the dancing. I know.
Ditto.
No, that's awesome. No, but tell us about the Rose Parade because I've never done that before, and just like a
Yeah.
little glimpse into what that experience was.
Yeah. So last year was my first year. I did sign on to do it again this year, so that will be really cool. It was quite an experience. I was lucky. I got on this team. It was called One Legacy. So that was also just ultra impactful because it was all about promoting awareness for organ donation. And so that particular float, they had a lot of volunteers helping, and everyone had a story of how organ donation had impacted their life. So that was just amazing. And then also just the camaraderie of working with all these other florists, and you are working long hours and you are working hard. It's like a 7-day week, maybe 5 days really hard with flowers. And you're in all sorts of odd positions, putting the flowers in, and it's definitely challenging and yet really rewarding. Like when you see all of them come to life at the end, it's so exciting and inspirational. And then like walking, in the pre-dawn hours when when the parade actually takes off, you're walking in the dark, like seeing all these completed floats and just admiring them or noticing different details. And it's really cool. So it was a bucket list item. I'm really happy that I did it, and I definitely wanted to do it at least one more time. So that will be this year.
No, that's so exciting. I mean, and what you didn't mention is this is all volunteer
Yeah.
time. So not only do you have to pay for your flight to get there, the same with the First Ladies Luncheon. I mean, they were very generous and we got to go to the lunch, but you had to pay for your own travel and
Yep.
well accommodation. So a lot of the work that florists do, it's for the passion of the flowers and just being amongst the blooms. And I don't think that people recognize how much we really give of our time and our resources just to be at something so special. So
Yeah. And the thing about that is like, yeah, it is volunteer. Yeah, don't you feel like for a lot of things that you volunteer for, maybe not everything, but sometimes when you volunteer, like we always use that term givers get. So it's like you're giving, but you're getting, like you're getting experience, you're getting connections. I learned a lot through that experience, even just about mechanics or about other florists. And
yeah.
those connections are so special. It's like that helps grow your flower family.
Yeah, I always say, and I've said this multiple times, is your network is your net worth. And I feel
Definitely.
like you can just have the most amazing experiences. I mean, we got a tour of the Capitol, like behind the scenes, and not a lot of people get to see those things. So I would say, as coming from two people who participate and apply for a lot of things just to do whatever, like put yourself out there if it's something that you have the desire to do and you don't know how it will impact the people that you are going to be planted there with. So I think that that's just really, really cool. And here we got to share a couple extra days and get to room together and,
Yeah, that was so fun. And that's
yeah.
the truth. You just never know what kind of added little bonus will be in the experience for you.
Yeah, I think that's life. That's what makes life so sweet.
So
Well,
true.
I haven't paid attention to really if we have any chats in here. Um, it doesn't look like it. It looks like that's an AI bot wanting. Oh, Donna has a question. It says, discuss the data a bit more. How much have these campaigns increased your shopper foot traffic and your AOV impacts on average?
Average order value on average, how many stems per vase? So it's different each time. So the data is kind of gone into, I think, in the article a little bit at SAF. But as I mentioned, probably about 200 people visit our store each week, and there's about an average of a $15 conversion, meaning some people buy something much more than that. Some people don't buy anything, so it averages out to about $15. It's actually on the upper end of that. Um,
Is
increase our
it
foot traffic.
$3,500 a week, I would say, or something? Or
Pardon? 200 times
$3,000?
15?
Yeah, $3,000 a week, probably.
Yeah, and then you do that times 52 weeks in a year. And then it gets a lot more in this last quarter because people are shopping with the holidays. So that just automatically, shouldn't say automatically, but it naturally increases what they're buying. And so we do have a very beautiful gift store. So people are looking around. Um, has it impacted our average order value? Sometimes, like some people come in for the tidbit and that's once a quarter and they might buy a $2,500 rug, so that definitely brings the order average up. Um,
I
and
think we're gonna have to take a field trip to Kennedy's just to
yeah,
kind of see. The next time I am
Great
going to
Lakes Floral.
the Gliffy event. I
Yeah,
gotta stop in there. I know you're usually very busy at that event, so
yeah.
uh,
So just for everyone to know, we do have an amazing convention called the Great Lakes Floral Event and Expo, Gliffy, GLFEE. It's part of the Great Lakes Floral Association. And Kennedy's is very involved in helping to keep that successful. And we are just a couple minutes, like 12 minutes from where it takes place. So anyone who comes, I always invite them in. They've done tours in the past and I've definitely led tours. So we're happy to show people around. Um, but yeah, and on average, how many stems per vase? I would say, I call it about a $15 fill. So I usually say about three main focal flowers and then like a couple breaks of like some pops and some accents, Um, it does take time to produce them. I would say our goal is to be able to produce at least 12 magic vases an hour. And they're done in Oasis and there are multiple insertions. So you can see it does take time. But then the vases that are with water, you can produce much more than 12 an hour. So that kind of just varies. But the retail cost that I target is around $15 per fill. And
yeah.
I've just kind of started to edge that up because we've just adjusted our prices for tariffs and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely impacting our STEM price, but still right around there is achievable for a beautiful, um, simple refill.
And Holly, remind me again, have you attended any of the other SAF events, like the Congressional Action Days, and gone and spoken on like the tariffs? Because I know that was a big topic of conversation this last year.
No, so that's also kind of on my little floral bucket list.
Yeah, you should totally go. I go nearly every year. I love it.
It was too close to the First Ladies Luncheon where I couldn't just justify going to DC back to back like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I
all
did
right.
kind of like justify it. But
Yeah, I know.
but
Sometimes I'm more relied on than others, and I knew that that prior time was when a fair amount of people had vacation or just things going on, and then I knew the First Ladies Luncheon had just been something I wanted to experience for a long time, so that one kind of took.
Well, if anybody is out there listening, and the First Lady's Luncheon is the best kept secret in all of Washington, D.C. So no one really is supposed to talk about when it happened. So we're not going to talk about that now. But I will say that both the Congressional Action Days and the First Lady's Luncheon happened during the cherry blossoms. So if
Oh,
you're so lucky, you get to visit DC during one of the most anticipated times of the year. So I would say definitely go and contribute your thoughts and your voice to these different experiences and your design skills, and
mhm.
you'll get to snag a
Yeah.
bracelet. Yeah.
Wear
And
my
Holly and I got into a very VIP party with the host.
oh, funny. Yeah, the chairwoman.
Yeah. Well, we are just finishing up this. We have some rapid fire questions. Are you prepared for the rapid fire portion of?
No, but yes, let's do it.
Okay. Here we go, Holly. What is your favorite word in another language?
Amor.
Perfect. What is your drink of choice?
Negroni.
I love it. What is your favorite flower?
Pincushion protea.
Lee. Okay.
I love Resendez Brothers.
Oh,
I helped out at that field to vase experience. It was memorable, and I lived in Australia and worked with those flowers, so they win.
where haven't you been? I guess that should be a part of the rapid fire. What country have you not been, or
El
continent?
Salvador. Well,
Okay.
I like to go somewhere Spanish speaking every January to keep up my Spanish, and I haven't been to El Salvador, so that's on my list for January this year.
I love it.
Mm.
What's one item you cannot leave home without?
My cell phone.
I know. You know as soon as you don't have it on you too, don't you? Um, Seasons. What is your favorite? Summer, winter, spring, or fall?
Oh, I think spring, I just love like all the special blossoms coming in and just everything coming back to life. I love it. My Oma always said, Mother Nature's ballet of green dances across the horizon. And I just thought, oh, it paints such a beautiful picture.
Yeah, I love that. We'll have to take that for one of our quotes. Our details quotes really perform well on Instagram. We're gonna say that's from Holly's Oma.
Yeah, do it.
Very good. We will. Morning or evening time?
Morning.
What's a hobby you've always wanted to try but haven't yet?
Making stained glass.
Oh, I really wanted to be into that at one time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. Are you more of a thinker or a doer?
Probably a doer, but I think a lot beforehand, so I don't know.
Good, good. What is for dinner tonight?
That's a great question. I love Thai food, so Thai food or a veggie burger. Those are two easy kind of go-tos.
I love it. What is your go-to karaoke song?
We are family.
What is your hidden talent?
I was gonna say singing. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, Traveling nomadically. It's not an easy thing to do, but I can just make something happen with barely any plan and it'll turn out great.
You know what? You're gonna be my call a friend when I get on The Amazing Race, and they're like,
Yes.
"Call a friend who would do this well with you," and I'll be
Oh
like,
my gosh, we would
"Holly."
nail it. We would nail it.
That's awesome. What's a song that always puts you in a good mood?
Oh, I'm talking about good vibrations.
Right. What is your favorite dance move, and will you demonstrate for us?
I don't know if I have one, but what made me laugh is my mom and her other friend in the plant room, they'll go like this a lot or like this. So I think by default, like I just start to.
Love it. We're gonna put this together in a clip, of all these songs.
Perfect.
Love to see it. What's the most unusual flower you've ever seen?
I do love passion flowers like that come with passion fruit. They're so beautiful, very exotic looking.
They are. Do they come with the fruit too? Is
They
it just
grow on the vine,
Oh, okay. I just
Mhm.
didn't know they were together.
That's a great question. Usually the flower creates the fruit, so I would think so.
Okay. And okay, if you could have any superpower, this is the last question. What would your superpower be?
I would love to fly.
I love
Uh,
it.
that's always, I'm like, come on, dreams, let me fly. Haven't officially got there yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, Holly, thank you so much for participating, and to all the guests who showed up to hear your tales of all of adventure and your love of flowers. And I love you so much. So thank you so much for doing
Ew. Thanks
and
for having me. And if anyone does have questions, feel free to reach out. I'm a busy gal, but I'll try and get back to you as fast as I can.
yeah, what is your Instagram handle?
My personal one is at Traveling with Joy because my middle name's Joy and I love to travel. And our Kennedy's is at Kennedy Floral.
Lovely.
Mhm.
Holly Joy. That was a good
You got it.
so much.
Hey, thanks, Miranda. Perfect.
All
Oh,
right.
pretty great to see you. Thank you so much.
I love you so much. Have a great rest of your afternoon, Holly.
You
See you.
too. Ciao, Bella.